أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. دستور يا سيدي يا سلطان الأنبياء، يا سيدي يا رسول الله مدد. دستور يا سيدي يا سلطان الأولياء، سيدي الشيخ محمد ناظم من قبرصي مدد. دستور يا سيدي يا قطب المتصرف مدد. دستور يا رجال الله مدد. يا ساداتنا الكرام، نوينا الأربعين، نوينا الاعتكاف، نوينا الخلوة، نوينا العزلة، نوينا السلوك، نوينا الصيام، نوينا الرياضة لله تعالى في هذا المسجد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله والله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, Asta'idhu billah, Inna ad-dina 'inda Allahi al-Islam. Certainly the religion, the way to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Islam, submission. And the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, الإسلام أن تعبد الله ولا تشرك به شيئا. Islam is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and not to make equals with Him, not to make a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, a 10 with Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Nabi Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam continues, وتقيم الصلاة المفروضة وتؤدي الزكاة وتصوم رمضان. Also to establish prayer and to give away from what you have and to fast Holy Ramadan. Now, why did the Prophet ﷺ say to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Why is he directing our attention to that? Do we human beings worship anybody else? Is there anybody that we worship that the Nabi Mustafa ﷺ had to tell us that Islam is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and not a second one or a third one or a fourth one. Imam Sana just read in Surah Yasin, Asta'idhu billah, Alam ahad ilaykum ya bani Adam. O children of Adam, didn't you make a promise to me? Didn't I tell you? Didn't we have a contract? And لا تعبدوا الشيطان, that you don't worship shaitan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us, children of Adam, that Allah Himself has warned us not to worship a second person or a second creation or a second creature or a second being, which is shaitan. In Surah Yasin, Asta'idhu billah, Alam ahad ilaykum ya bani Adam an la ta'budu shaitan innahu lakum aduwwun mubin wa an ya'buduni hadha siratun mustaqim. I took your promise, all mankind, all sons of Adam, all daughters of Adam, and sons of Eve and daughters of Eve. I took a promise from you that you are not going to worship shaitan, that you are going to worship me. So that means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows that we, mankind, will worship shaitan. And worship, some scholars say that it is obedience. If we worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we obey Him. If we worship shaitan, we obey him. So obedience is worship. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, don't worship shaitan, that means we are actually, some of us, mankind, are obeying shaitan. And by obeying shaitan, they are carrying out the orders of shaitan and leaving the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or sometimes we carry out the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and sometimes we carry out the orders of shaitan. So now we're making two gods, two people to obey. In Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا خُطُوَاتِ الشَّيْطَانِ إِنَّهُ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌّ مُبِينٌ. O mankind, look how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so warning us. He's warning us. Don't follow the footsteps of shaitan. In Surah Al-Baqarah. Don't follow the footsteps of shaitan. إِنَّهُ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌّ مُبِينٌ. He is a clear enemy to you. إِنَّمَا يَأْمُرُكُمْ بِالسُّوءِ وَالْفَحْشَاءِ وَأَن تَقُولُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. He orders you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now is telling us what shaitan orders us. If we obey shaitan, we are worshipping shaitan. If we are disobedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that means we are not fully worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, this shaitan that I'm telling you not to follow the footsteps of, he orders you three things. Three main categories that shaitan orders us. Mankind. إِنَّمَا يَأْمُرُكُمْ. Verily he orders you. Bisu. He orders you badness and evil. Wal-fahsha. Despicable acts, illegal acts, illicit acts, mostly sexual desires. وَأَن تَقُولُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. And to say about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala what you don't know. That means false statements about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we look a little bit closer to what is evil, what is badness, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says shaitan is ordering you badness, evil, is to do harm. Al-darar wal-adha. It can be explained as al-darar wal-adha. To do harm, to cause harm, to inflict injury, damage, maltreatment, abuse, mental injury, physical injury. That is to do harm. So, that is badness, that is evil. So shaitan orders mankind, do harm, hurt people, inflict moral stress on them, mentally, physically, let them feel pain. That is all su, it is all evil and badness. Ill-treat them, don't treat them good, treat them bad. So we mankind, mashallah, so many of us follow that order. Around the world,
Anybody that is causing harm to a fellow human being is following the order of shaitan to do badness. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not order us to kill people, to harm people, to inflict injury on people. He orders us to be ahsin, be excellent, not good, excellent to people. Then the second thing that shaitan orders is fahsha, is illicit acts, illegal acts, disgusting acts, despicable acts, fahsha. Let's go back to point number one, badness. Where does badness come from? To inflict harm on people, where does it come from? Which characteristic that we carry that makes us hurt people? It's anger. When you're angry at somebody, you hurt them. So anger is the source of doing harm and causing harm. That's anger. And the second thing is al-fahsha. Most of the scholars describe it as the illegal sexual desires that a lot of human beings are involved in, and other bad actions that they do. And the third one that he orders us to say that we don't know about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. False statements. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for example, has a son. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for example, created the angels as females. Or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has equals in His Lordship. These are all false statements about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're all illusions and delusions. So shaitan orders badness, evil, to do harm, which the source of which is anger, that we all have inside ourselves. Second, he orders fahsha, fahush, illicit acts, because all of us carry lust inside of us and desires. And third, false statements that say about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala what is not right. So what does Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam tell us? He says, worship Allah alone, to make partners, and establish prayer. Pray. Why pray? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ تَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ. Prayer will forbid you from doing fahsha, fuhush, illegal sexual activities. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us shaitan will order you to sleep with the opposite sex. And Nabi Kareem is saying that pray, because prayer will forbid you from sleeping with the opposite sex. Inna salata tanha 'anil fahsha. Salah verily will forbid us from doing fahsha, fahush, which is the illegal sexual activities. And Nabi Kareem says, وَأَدِّ الزَّكَاةِ, give the charity, give from yourself, away from yourself, what you don't need. That means get rid of the anger. Get rid of your anger. Give it up. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying shaitan orders you to do harm, the source of which is anger. And Nabi Kareem says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, give away, give up from yourself, from what you own, and we all own anger, so you give it away. And third, shaitan orders us to say false statements about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is lying. We are lying. And when you are fasting, can you lie? You can't lie. So, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is saying Islam, submission. And if you do all this, he says you get Jannah. Nabi Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So he says, worship Allah alone. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, I told you don't worship shaitan, but worship me alone. See the similarities. And then Nabi Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is saying, establish prayer. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, shaitan orders you fahush, which prayer prevents it. And then Nabi Karim is saying, give charity, zakat. Zakat means purification. You purify yourself. This is another meaning of zakat. So when you are purifying yourself from anger, you don't do harm, which is what shaitan is ordering you to do. And thirdly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that shaitan orders you to lie about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying fast, because fasting prevents you from lying. See how different ways, but they all come to the same thing. And the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if you do these, you pray, you purify yourself, or you give the charity, the zakah, and you fast, and of course hajj, you will enter paradise. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that if you don't follow shaitan, you don't do harm, which is anger, which is zakat, purification, you don't do fahsha, which is the illegal sexual desires, which is prevented by salah. You don't lie about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is fasting, because you don't lie. If you don't follow shaitan, you enter my paradise. So these three things, let's pay attention to. Even if we don't remember them, as long as we remember that salat we do, that purification we do, that fasting we do, they are enough to make us not follow shaitan. And they are enough to allow us to enter paradise. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He makes us from the people that do not follow shaitan. What is happening nowadays in our world is not Islam. That's not true Islam. We have to really know our true Islam. What is true Islam? Inshallah, Allah will give us that opportunity to know it and to practice it. And we don't follow shaitan footsteps ever, as long as we keep our prayers, we keep our zakah and purification, and we keep our fasting, and we do hajj once in our lifetime. We do not follow shaitan's footsteps. Inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make us from the pious ones, from the God-fearing ones, from the ones that are together with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. ومن الله التوفيق بحرمة الفاتحة.